the studio lights blazed as the Morgan Tate Show's theme music thundered through Studio 6B. 300 audience members erupted in manufactured enthusiasm, while Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson stood backstage, adjusting his charcoal Tom Ford suit. His publicist, Lisa Park, checked her phone nervously. "Keep it light tonight," she warned. "Morgan's been edgy lately. Ratings pressure."
Instead of backing down, Morgan doubled down. "Even your anger is perfectly calibrated," he said with false casualness. "Even your outrage fits the brand. It's very compelling television, very authentic seeming." Dwayne's eyes never left Morgan's face. "You really want to sit there and tell me my life is a marketing campaign? I'm saying you've been performing authentic Dwayne Johnson so long you might not remember what the original looked like," Morgan replied. The audience fell completely silent, phones coming out to record history unfolding. "You want to know about performance?" Dwayne's voice grew quieter, more dangerous. "Performance is getting up at 4:30 when your body feels hit by a truck. Performance is doing take after take until your muscles scream because 300 crew members depend on you." He leaned forward menacingly. "But sleeping in a car? Getting my face smashed for $200 in Alabama VFW halls? That's not content, Morgan. That's my life." Morgan's face went pale, then red. "I didn't mean—" "Yes, you did," Dwayne cut him off, standing to his full 6'5" height. The audience gasped. "You got your viral moment. I hope it was worth it." The studio air crackled with electricity as Dwayne towered over Morgan's desk. His smile had vanished completely, replaced with something raw and dangerous that made the audience collectively hold their breath. "You want to know what's real?" Dwayne's voice dropped to a whisper that somehow carried more menace than any shout. "Real is sleeping in a 1987 Honda Civic in a Walmart parking lot because you can't afford rent. Real is getting your job broken in 3 places and showing up to work the next week with your mouth wired shut because you've got bills to pay." The cameras captured every micro-expression as 20 years of carefully managed celebrity facade cracked open. Real is carrying your father's casket when you're not sure you made him proud. Real is failing publicly, completely, and having to rebuild yourself while the whole world watches and waits for you to fail again. Morgan's face had gone pale. Lena Cruz sat frozen, recognizing they were witnessing something historic. "But you know what's not real?" Dwayne continued, his voice rising for the first time. "Sitting behind a desk, making jokes about other people's sacrifices while contributing nothing but cynicism to the world." The audience was dead silent, phones recording frantically. Morgan's ego, bruised and desperate, made the fatal mistake of doubling down. His face flushed red as he gripped his desk, unable to surrender control of his own show. "Look, I get it. Great story, very compelling. But maybe you're not here for authenticity at all. Maybe you're here to sell tequila, and maybe even test the waters for a presidential run." The words hit like a physical slap. Gasps rippled through the audience. Some laughed nervously, others booed outright.
This wasn't comedy anymore. This was character assassination disguised as entertainment. Dwayne's face went completely still, the kind of stillness that comes before earthquakes. His hands, which had been gesturing naturally, slowly curled into fists. "Did you just—" Dwayne's voice was barely audible, but the microphones caught every syllable. Backstage, Lisa Park clutched her phone, watching her client's reputation potentially implode on live television. In the control room, Rick Daniels frantically signaled his team, torn between cutting to commercial and capturing what could be the most viral moment in late-night history. Morgan's smirk faltered as he realized he'd crossed a line he couldn't uncross, but it was too late. Time seemed to freeze as Dwayne processed what had just happened. The suggestion that his authenticity was a calculated political move, that his life story was campaign positioning, hit deeper than any physical blow he'd ever taken in the ring. Slowly, deliberately, Dwayne reached up and unclipped his wireless microphone. The small device hit the coffee table with a metallic clink that echoed through the silent studio like a gunshot. "You don't get to mock the years I bled for this," Dwayne said, his voice carrying a finality that made everyone in the room understand this wasn't theater anymore. "That's not a joke. It's my life, and I'm done pretending it's entertainment for you." He stood to his full height, straightening his jacket with the same dignity he'd worn walking into the studio, but now it carried the weight of a man reclaiming his self-respect. "Good luck with your show, Morgan," Dwayne said, not looking back as he walked toward the exit. "Hope the ratings were worth it." The audience sat in stunned silence, unsure whether to applaud, gasp, or boo. Some began to clap, slow, respectful applause that grew as others joined in. Morgan forced a weak smile, desperately trying to salvage control of his own program. "Well, folks, that's television," Morgan stammered, his voice cracking slightly. "We'll be right back after these messages." In the control room, Rick Daniels grabbed his headset. "Cut to commercial! Cut to commercial now!" But the damage was done. Dwayne Johnson had walked off a live television show, and in 60 seconds, the clip would be racing across the internet at light speed, transforming from a late-night interview into a cultural earthquake. The entertainment machine had just learned that not everyone was willing to be entertainment. The moment the cameras cut to commercial, Studio 6B erupted into controlled pandemonium. Production assistants scattered like startled birds, their headsets crackling with urgent instructions from the control room. The carefully orchestrated machinery of late-night television had just experienced a catastrophic malfunction. Lisa Park sprinted down the hallway in her designer heels, catching up to Dwayne as he strode toward the exit. "Dwayne, wait. We need to talk about this. We can fix this." He stopped, turning to face his publicist with an expression she'd never seen before. Not anger, but something deeper. Disappointment. "Fix what, Lisa? My dignity? My integrity? The 20 years I spent building something real?" His voice was calm but carried the weight of finality. "Some things can't be fixed with a press release. But the optics, think about your brand, your future projects." "My brand." Dwayne's laugh held no humor.
That's exactly the problem. When did I become a brand instead of a person? Meanwhile, in the control room, Rick Daniels was having a full-scale meltdown. "How the hell did we let this happen? Get Morgan back on script. Get the backup guest ready. And somebody find out if Johnson's people want to sue us." Back on set, Morgan sat frozen at his desk, the fake smile plastered on his face beginning to crack. Lena Cruz leaned over, whispering urgently, "You pushed too far, Morgan. You know that, right?" The studio audience remained seated, buzzing with confused energy. Some were already posting videos to social media, their phones becoming weapons in what would soon become a cultural war. As Dwayne walked through the backstage area, crew members stopped to watch. Some nodded respectfully, others averted their eyes. Everyone understood they'd witnessed something that would change how celebrity interviews worked forever. The machine was broken, and nobody knew how to fix it. Outside Studio 6B, the audience filed out into the Manhattan night, their faces illuminated by phone screens as they frantically typed messages, uploaded videos, and called friends. The normal post-show chatter had been replaced by heated debates that split groups down the middle. "He was totally out of line," argued Jennifer, a marketing executive from Queens, adjusting her designer purse. "You go on a talk show, you expect jokes. That's literally the point." "Are you kidding me?" countered Marcus, a construction worker who'd won tickets through a radio contest. "That wasn't comedy, that was a hit job. The man walked out with his dignity intact." The divide was immediate and visceral. Some audience members felt they'd witnessed a celebrity tantrum, a thin-skinned superstar who couldn't handle legitimate criticism. Others saw something more profound, a moment when someone finally said enough to the entertainment industry's hunger for manufactured drama. Street reporters appeared within minutes, shoving microphones at departing audience members. The local news stations had already caught wind of the story, recognizing the viral potential of a major celebrity walking off live television. "It was uncomfortable to watch," admitted Sarah, a teacher from Brooklyn. "But maybe that's what made it real. We're so used to everything being fake and scripted. This felt honest." Inside the studio, crew members whispered among themselves as they reset for the next segment. Many had worked in television for decades, but none had ever seen anything like this. The unspoken rules of celebrity interviews, the mutual performance where stars promoted their projects and hosts got their content, had just been shattered. By the time the last audience member reached the street, #RockWalkout was already trending on Twitter. The first blurry phone videos were appearing on TikTok and Instagram, spreading across the digital landscape like wildfire. The cultural earthquake had begun.
Team Morgan fired back with equal intensity. "Celebrities can't handle basic questions anymore," posted @ComedyDefender. "What happened to having a sense of humor? The Rock's ego is bigger than his biceps." TikTok exploded with reaction videos. Teenagers reenacted the mic prop moment. Fitness influencers created authentic workout parodies. Comedy accounts made Morgan Tate soundboards featuring his most cutting remarks. Instagram became a battlefield of celebrity opinions. Some A-listers quietly liked supportive posts about Dwayne. Others remained strategically silent, unwilling to pick sides in an industry where relationships determined careers. News outlets scrambled to capitalize on the viral moment. CNN's entertainment correspondent called it a watershed moment for celebrity culture. Fox News framed it as Hollywood elites unable to handle criticism. Late-night comedy shows faced an impossible choice: mock one of their own or risk seeming like they endorsed celebrity walkouts. Behind the scenes, Dwayne's team worked frantically to control the narrative, while Morgan's publicists went into full crisis mode. Sponsors for the Morgan Tate Show received hundreds of complaints and counter-complaints. The story had escaped the boundaries of entertainment news, morphing into something larger, a cultural Rorschach test about authenticity, respect, and the price of fame. By midnight, the clip had 50 million views across all platforms. The machine that had broken in Studio 6B was now reshaping itself in real time. 3 weeks after the walkout, The reverberations continued to reshape the entertainment landscape in ways no one had anticipated. Dwayne Johnson broke his silence with a carefully crafted Instagram post that garnered 47 million views in its first hour. No defensive explanations or PR spin, just a simple message. Authenticity isn't a brand strategy, it's a life choice. Some moments require you to walk away, to walk toward who you really are. The post featured a photo of him with his daughters, no gym equipment or movie promotion in sight. The response was overwhelmingly supportive, but Dwayne felt the weight of becoming an unwilling symbol. Interview requests poured in from serious journalists wanting to explore the deeper implications of his stand. He declined them all, choosing silence over spectacle. Morgan Tate's show survived, but barely. After a week of brutal ratings and sponsor departures, he issued a public apology that felt as calculated as his original attack. "Comedy should punch up, not down," he read from a teleprompter, his usual smirk replaced by something approaching humility. "I lost sight of the line between entertainment and exploitation." The apology satisfied no one. His core audience felt betrayed by what they saw as capitulation to cancel culture. Dwayne's supporters dismissed it as damage control. Morgan's reputation as the fearless truth-teller of late night was permanently tarnished. Lena Cruz emerged as an unexpected voice of reason, using her platform to discuss the ethical boundaries of comedy and journalism. Her thoughtful commentary earned praise from media critics and led to her own development deal for a more substantive late-night format. The incident sparked industry-wide conversations about consent in celebrity interviews. Several major stars began including dignity clauses in their appearance contracts, explicitly outlining topics and approaches that were off-limits. Lisa Park found herself fielding calls from other publicists seeking advice on crisis management, but also from celebrities wanting to know how to be more like Dwayne, how to maintain authenticity while navigating public life. The viral clips continued circulating months later, but their meaning had evolved. What began as entertainment had become a masterclass in personal boundaries, professional respect, and the courage to choose dignity over dollars. The machine that broke in Studio 6B had been rebuilt, but with new rules. Rules written not by executives or focus groups, but by someone who simply refused to be anyone other than himself.
Up next, you've got two more standout stories right on your screen. If this one hit the mark, you won't want to pass these up. Just click and check them out. And don't forget to subscribe and turn on the notification bell so you don't miss any upload from us. Where you can direct a voice, create realistic dialogue, and so much more. Edit these placeholders to get started.